Hello, Thielbogen here. To my fellow workers in the vineyard, worldwide, greetings. Accusation of misogyny is projection. Now, I recently made a video in which I explained how feminism licenses the dark side of female nature, fails to hold women morally accountable, and pretty much lets women get away with anything. In this video, I carefully made clear that the dark side of human nature is common to men and women both. I did not single out women as a group or imply that evil was unique to women as a group. I merely pointed out that feminism has put women on a moral holiday while stating that men as a group are still on the job. And I should have added that men are now pulling overtime, so to speak. I made the further observation that not only does feminism license the dark feminine and not the dark masculine, but that feminism also implicitly propagates the idea that women are incapable of wrongdoing in the first place. They simply haven't got that in their blood. Full stop. Well, that's how feminism sees it. It's patently clear to anybody who's observed feminism for as long as I have. Yeah, that is what most feminists appear to imply. And if you try to pin them down about that, they do all manner of conversational gymnastics to wiggle out of it. Yeah, feminism is harder to pin down than an eel in a muddy pond. So, it remains clear that the majority of the feminists would rather not square up to the reality of the dark feminine. They would rather dance around that subject evasively. In other words, they would rather believe and have us all believe that the dark feminine does not even exist at all. It also remains clear that the core of the feminist enterprise is to blame female wrongdoing on men or on the so-called patriarchy, or if all else fails, to simply ignore the dark side of female behavior altogether. Just look the other way. So if we are brutally honest, we must admit that in the feminist worldview, all bad things flow from a male source, either directly or indirectly. That summarizes the points I made in my video. I merely pointed out the existence of the dark feminine along with the dark masculine, and I went on to say a few things about feminism. Well, I was not surprised when I got a couple of comments and a private message in which the self-identified feminists all referred to me, mind you, as a woman hater, in more words or less. I deleted the comments pursuant to JS 38, points 44, 45, and 46. The JS 38 Prime Convention is linked in the low bar of this video. Please go there. At any rate, I should call something to your attention. In the video, my crime, so to speak, was to suggest that women have the same moral capacity for evil that men do. A thoroughly equalitarian suggestion, as I'm sure you will agree. Yet these feminists saw it in a different light. Apparently, in their view, if you merely point out the existence of the dark feminine, it means that you hate women. Yeah, apparently that's how they think, these feminists. It means that you are something called a misogynist. If I had dwelled upon the evil which men do You reckon they would have made a squeak against that? You know damn well they wouldn't have said diddly doo-dah against that. In their universe, it is fine to punish men for wrongdoings, but don't you dare say a word against women. So, tell me, what foundational state of mind does all of this comport with? That's right, it comports with hatred of men and maleness. That is what it comports with. I wish I could say these recent examples are exceptional, but no, they are the rule. This kind of anti-male bias runs like a blazing red stripe through everything identifiably feminist. And I speak from years of close observation. Every feminist I've ever known or known of either behaves this way or tries to pull the spotlight away from those who do behave this way. All right, here is the signature pattern that we may extract. If you point out the existence of the dark feminine or merely insist that women be held accountable for their bad behavior, then feminists in large numbers will dogpile you with accusations of woman-hating. But when they do this, it is pure projection and reversal. The naked truth is that they are deflecting away from the fact that feminism considers men and maleness the root of evil. In other words, they are covering their hatred of men by calling you a woman hater. Hatred of men, or misandry, is the home truth about feminism, which hisses at feminism's core like a viper in a woodpile. So, tell me again that misandry is not real? Fiedelbogen out.